Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see your troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. That's it.
Okay, I had no idea. I nearly interrupted you like twice where to go, hey, are you done?
No.
It's like, I have no idea the lyrics to that. I was really surreptitiously in the background trying to Google the lyrics so I could find out where the end of the song was.
You can't rush these things, damn it.
Well, you can on TV because there's a time limit. On TV, that needs to be less than 30 seconds or you're out. It's no good, I think. Is it not?
It's a classic.
Well, fair enough. It's not a classic I ever watched, so I wasn't familiar.
This is where Frasier spawned from.
Very good. It doesn't mean I've seen it.
Can't say I have as well.
Woody Harrelson.
Yes, he was in Zombieland. That's about it.
Well, he was also in Cheers.
I'm not.
Anyway.
You know me by now.
Yes.
I don't do actors. You're like, oh, it was so and so. I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. Tom Cruise? No, never heard of him. I've heard of Tom Cruise, but that's about it. Barry Chuckle. We know about Barry Chuckle.
We know about Barry Chuckle.
Has anyone established whether he's alive or dead this week?
I think we need to Google this.
Okay, is Barry top search? Barry Chuckle. I'm not seeing any up to date news on that, so I think he's still alive. we need to get that website made, and we need tied to the obituaries. Anyway, that's where the theme tune this week was "Cheers" sung for us by Will.
Hello.
Because Michael's not here. Michael is being replaced this week by Danny. Welcome, Danny.
Hey up. You alright, lads?
Well, good, yeah. This is your first time, right, yeah?
Yeah, defo.
Yeah. So we've had... Danny is one of the other Button Mash crew that you never ever get to see on the internet, so he's here today.
I drive the van.
He is, yes, he's the man with the van. If you ever turned up to one of our events and wondered, how did all of these things get here? These things were not here yesterday. They came in his van. So that's his role. He also plays a lot of video games, as do we all, which is why he's here today on the Button Mash podcast to talk about video games and video game accessories. So, the first order of business, now that we've established the live or dead status of Barry Chuckle, as always... essential business, I'm quite sure you'll agree.
Yes.
We're going to talk about what we've been playing this week, gaming experiences for the past week. So, Danny, as newcomer, I'm going to throw the spotlight on you.
Okay.
What have you been playing this week?
Well, it's mostly been Xbox games.
Fair enough.
Xbox 360.
We shall not prejudice you on format, although PC is clearly superior.
Yes, of course. I do not doubt it. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play any Steam games on either my desktop or my laptop because it's just hardware issues. I'm always getting blue screen for some bizarre reason. But yeah. But until I get a new PC, I won't be playing any video games on them.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, there's still a few interesting things on console these days. 1 or 2 bits and pieces. Yeah,
but there's only 3 games I've been playing mainly. GTA 5.
Mm-hmm. Is that 360 you say you play on?
Yeah, 360.
Oh, so you're still on the old version.
Yes. I'm not a millionaire, so I haven't got the next gen consoles yet.
Admittedly, I'm not a millionaire. I just leech off other people who have more money than me, and I just play their expensive versions of things.
Yeah.
So I know a guy who's got it on PC, and I was like, I'll play your version on PC. It's got first-person view and shiny graphics and everything.
Yes.
And people don't look like Burns victims anymore.
Nah.
Yes, I've seen. I've been watching CNANers play it on PC, and yeah, the graphics on it look absolutely fantastic. But there's still quite a few people playing it on Xbox 360.
Yeah, I mean, we did play it on Xbox 360 up until not so long before. I mean, well, to be fair, they launched the heists not that long ago on 360, and that brought a lot of people back. A lot of people came back to do heists.
Definitely. There's one thing I don't like about heists.
Oh, yeah?
You need a full lobby to play it. And it's pretty much a case of everyone needs to be in the lobby and they all need to stay alive for the game to get anywhere. Because with like the other missions and that, people could easily be dropped out or die and spectate or whatever, and the game still continues. But you need from start to finish 4 players.
It's designed to be played as a team, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's just got so many restrictions on it that one player cocks up and the whole missions. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's reasonably analogous to, in a lot of other games, raiding, basically. It requires you to have a group of people who all work together and talk together and coordinate to actually get the job done. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
It's definitely like that. You need coordination. You need everyone with a microphone telling everyone what to do. And it's kind of put me off, actually. I mean, when I first actually finally got into a heist game, I enjoyed it because everyone had a microphone, everyone was, behaving themselves, and it was actually all right. But after a couple of times of being kind of pissed off by either kids playing on it and shouting and blaring at each other.
That is an issue with GTA. That's quite a recurring issue, yes.
And it's definitely an issue.
So say it's rated an 18. There's a lot of very young voices screeching over the town, yes.
Very suspicious young voices as well. But other than that, it wasn't actually that bad. But I just found that because the missions that are just like what you get from your mobile, the characters that actually play
the standard missions,
yeah, the standard missions. You get so much money from that. You might as well just do them solo. They're easy enough as long as you're competent to complete them.
They're not nearly as interesting as the raids, though. I'm calling them raids now.
Yeah.
The heists.
They aren't. The heists are really interesting, and as long as the Rockstar have done a phenomenal job on the heists. But like I say, the only failing with the heist is the players. So,
yeah.
So,
well, what I've found is that if you can find a dedicated group, say through Reddit, because there's plenty of subreddits out there that are like, I think there's like literally just GTA 5 heists or GTA Online heists, one of those two. Yeah. It's literally just there for people to say, hey, I'm playing the game now. I want 3 people who are not complete cockends to play this with. Can we get 3 people? And you'll pretty quickly get 3 people, just add you on Xbox Live or whatever and be like, okay, let's make this happen. Boom, let's get a game going. And then you've got a dedicated crew of 4. Those have always been the most successful missions that I've found. If you just go, random match me with whoever's playing the game at the minute, guaranteed failure every goddamn time. You will end up with a 12-year-old who crashes the plane. Always.
Yeah. It's weird that, because we ended up with I don't know how old he is, but apparently he was a friend of a friend who went on the mission, Titan of a job or something like that. It was just one of the standard missions.
That around, yeah. It's to steal a Titan, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, it's pretty much just to steal a Titan from the airport from Merriweather.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the fastest car, so I went in, shot everyone. Then when the others caught up, this incompetent sod, who was the friend of the friend, took the Titan, got it all the way to the airfield, then crashed it.
Sweet.
So yeah, that cramped my evening of game time. but then we get into another mission, and he does. The list is endless. But yeah, you really need to network and get teams, get proper teams going. I've been trying to join decent crews that are, like, well, not the high-ranking crews because they're just chock full of bellends.
Yeah,
But,
they're obviously with the bigger, more successful ones, you end up with hundreds or thousands of people. I don't know how big they
Yeah.
go, but some of them are pretty ridiculously big. At that point, you might as well be matchmaking at random because you're playing with thousands of randoms at that point. So
Yeah, it's because they're open networks, so all you have to pretty much do is click, I want to join your crew, and you're pretty much in. Because you have, I reckon the better ones are the lower ranked ones that have got like say around about, I don't know, 50 to 100 members.
yeah,
That you need permission from the higher associates, the higher.
it's more of a smaller, close-knit guild kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's strange how we're talking about it, but it's basically GTA's now pretty much become World of Warcraft.
it's a massively online game. It does have a lot of similarities to MMOs, of course it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's my only serious beef with it at the moment. Because I'm enjoying the new weapons that have been added, especially the rocket launcher that actually locks on. I think that's
I feel like that's a crazy powerful one for them to just give to everyone, which they did. It was like, normally it's like, oh, you want a rocket launcher? Well, now you've got to get to level 100 to do that. Good luck with that. That'll take you months. But then they're like, oh, here's a rocket launcher that locks onto vehicles, and you can just go to the shop and buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of me is like, all the DLC weapons just seem to completely and utterly break progression. But
do.
at the same time, that rocket launcher was so very, very needed just for balance, I think.
Yeah.
Because the amount of people would just be like, hey, I've got an attack helicopter, screw you! Boom! And blow you up. Or just screaming around in a jet shooting shit down. Just to be able to just go, and take out some knob that's being a dick.
Yeah. Buzzards and buzzards, hydras, and I've forgotten what the other jet is called, have become less interesting just because of the lock-on missile launcher.
Yeah.
However, I do like the Hydra.
I will say the jet's pretty fun to just bomb around in, as long as you're not
definitely.
specifically trying to blow people up, because someone will just shoot you down now. But
definitely.
it's GTA. Someone will probably shoot you down anyway. But hey,
Yeah.
someone will be like, "Hey, that guy's got a jet. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
How dare you have fun?"
One other thing I've noticed. Have you seen the proximity mines?
I have seen them. I don't think I've ever had a chance to use them. They're all. I mean, that takes a bit of planning. I don't know quite when and where you would use that. GTA is a fairly spontaneous kind of affair.
Yeah.
You know, strategizing and plotting someone's demise takes a bit of work.
Mostly, I would use them on vehicles because it's pretty much a case of plant and forget.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to be a dick, you'd put it in front of someone's garage. Or there's the other garage that I tried to do this with sticky bombs at one point. The garage that, I mean, it's a very low level kind of job, but if occasionally there's the rare cars pop up and it's like, if you go get this car and deliver it to Simeon, he'll pay you a lot of money.
Yes.
And everybody, because it's marked on the map and it's kind of a event that happens, you get a lot of people racing for it. So there's on one occasion I was just like, I'll just go to the garage before them and put sticky bombs on the door. I screwed it up and I didn't actually blow up the car, god damn it, but it was good effort. If I'd had proximity mines, I wouldn't have had to think about it.
Yeah, there's always a flaw in the thinking process.
Yes. So, yeah, I've not played much GTA this week, but I've been dabbling with GTA 5 over the last couple of weeks, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's shiny on PC and presumably the next-gen consoles as well. But for me, there's just a little bit of, it's still the same game.
Yeah, they haven't. All they've done is just spit polished everything. That's really all they've done.
Well, there are slightly more toys. They have added more toys to the sandbox, and those toys themselves are much shinier. Indeed, the sand within the sandbox is much higher resolution as well, to continue this analogy. But ultimately, it's still the same sandbox, it's still the same size, and the games that you can play in the sandbox are still much of a muchness. Buying it entirely again mostly seems to be a little bit of a waste of money from my perspective. Especially if you were playing right through the height. I mean, if you played GTA at launch on the consoles, which is like nearly 2 years ago now, and then you hadn't played it again since, and you came back into it, and they've added heists and they've added more stuff, and you got back into it, I could see that could be kind of fun. But if you played on 360 up until they'd released heists and everything, and then the new ones come out like a month later, and you're like, oh, I'll go buy it again, it doesn't add anything that wasn't there before, other than first-person mode, and I don't think first-person mode is interesting enough to sell the entire game again.
I agree with you. It really doesn't pitch well.
Which is, well, that's why they've... I mean, have you seen what Rockstar have done to try and convince people to buy the same game a second time?
Oh, I have, yeah. It's
the amount of freebies and things that they promise is like, oh, if you buy it again, we'll give you this shiny car and this thing and a helicopter and lots of money. Please buy our game again. We'll give you money. It's virtual money, but please have it.
It's you can't beat them for trying.
Well, it's not a matter of trying. It works. A lot of people have bought the damn thing.
Yeah. It's
probably. I don't know what the sales figures are, but I imagine they're horrifying.
Oh yeah, they'll be rolling around in cash.
Scrooge McDucking it up. Yes.
Oh hell yeah, why not? Anyway, moving on from GTA 5 is Minecraft.
The old favourites, yes.
Of course. I'm an extreme veteran of it now, because I don't know if either of you have watched my I don't know how long video of building a train station in Minecraft.
I have not watched your videos. Where could people find those videos, Danny?
They can find them on my YouTube channel. It's Wolfblade X34. I have a link of it somewhere. But
since this is audio only, there's no way you can post it that people could see. But unless it's something you can read off very quickly and easily.
Hang on a sec.
How do you know? Thank you for your professionalism. Most people know their YouTube URLs. Like youtube.com/buttonmashempire.
Ooh. Unfortunately, I don't.
Okay, Google Wolfblade X34.
I'm sure John will post a link in the description
There will be a link in the description below, yes.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much. Anyway, what I've done is a little project of my own. There was one of my favourite guys that have been using tutorials from is a guy called CMB Minecraft, and he did a bat cave for himself, and he had all sorts in it. It was crazy, but what he had, which was entirely pointless but a really cool redstone idea, was a minecart storage system using the chest carts. Pretty much a case of as long as you press a certain button with a certain switch, with a certain lever pressed or something like that, a cart will come down and you'll be able to get, say, your diamonds or your iron ore or whatever, and then send the cart back off on its way, and it'll sort itself back into the system. I gave it a go, and I tell you what, it was painstaking. You're not a big fan of Minecraft, Redstone, are you?
I have had my moments. I mean, over on the Strangeland server, I built the entire post office system, which
yes, you did.
Some people have commended me for. I didn't think it was particularly flashy, but most people seem to think it was fairly cool. And I did the vending machines, which I couldn't find anything particularly similar to, actually, out there. So I feel like that was a fairly unique contraption I did.
That was unique, was that? And it was a really good design. I thought it was brilliant. Really well done.
And that's probably about the extent of my redstone stuff. I'll occasionally do a secret doorway and stuff, which is always fun. I once followed a tutorial for doing a 3x3 sort of blast door kind of thing. That was more work than it was worth.
That was for your science lab, wasn't it?
I made a science lab, yeah. I like the lab, but that blast door was not worth the time and effort I put into it. Just to go, it's like, I could have just put a door there. That is basically Minecraft in a nutshell. Especially whatever the heck you were just talking about. I couldn't quite grasp what the hell the point of it was. But it mostly seems to be finding convoluted ways to do things that the game already did perfectly well without making it convoluted.
Yeah. Well, that's what the pistons are all about. We're making like secret doorways and what have you.
Yeah.
What mine is all like hidden staircases. What I used to do on
I've seen you do a few of them before. Yeah,
on Feed the Beast. But what I was doing, it was basically a storage system where you called a cart down, or several carts, depending on how much gear you want him. It basically runs through. It runs through like all these awkward. I forgot what the word is for them.
It just sounds like something that could easily be replaced with a single treasure chest in my book.
Yes, it is, definitely.
It's just like, if the game has a treasure chest, why don't you take the things and put them in it?
It's pretty much a case of, I am doing this because this is Minecraft and I can do this with Minecraft.
I know, that's what I was saying about building pointlessly convoluted contraptions just for the sake of having a pointlessly convoluted contraption.
However, the train station idea I did was, it is pretty much a really, really good way of getting around the place, around your map, or wherever you are. It has more of a point than what the Minecraft the minecart storage system thing was. Has a much more of a point because you can select a destination, get in a minecart, off to your new destination. Simple as, and it being infinite. The destinations being infinitely expandable, so you could have one central train station that could go to hundreds, if not thousands, of locations if you were that creative about it.
Fair enough.
Because it was one of the because that I applied to join the Strangeland server.
Yes, you did.
That was one of the first things I were going to build on there. I
believe we have a monorail system kind of in the works at the minute.
Yeah, well, that's what I were going to help work on.
To be fair, I haven't been on the server for like 6 weeks at this point in time, so it may, God knows what's happened in the meantime. I kind of burned out on Minecraft a bit. I mean, I've done some group kind of stuff with other guys, but we did some Race for the Wall recently. But the actual sort of building structures and redstone things and that there's been a lot of other really interesting things that have been far more engaging. Minecraft is just a massive time investment that I just can't. I kind of. I could spend 3 hours building this tower, or I could spend those 3 hours actually researching a game that I need to review tomorrow. I'll generally plump for doing the review. I feel like that's a more useful use of my time, generally speaking.
Yeah. Well, it's really weird how into Minecraft I've actually become, because when I first started on it, I really thought it was a seriously childish game. I didn't see any potential for future gameplay of myself with it. But then,
yeah, I think I was the same.
After playing it for like, I don't know, about a week or so, I got right into it.
I think when I first saw it, it was mostly. I don't think there was any. I think I saw it must have been back in alpha the first time I saw it, when it was mostly just playing with Legos, and I was like, I get why people play with Legos, but at this point in my life, I don't play with Legos anymore. What is the point of this game? I don't quite get it. And then later they added survival and crafting and things, and the crafting system, I think there was some picture got posted to r/gaming on Reddit, and it was like, oh, that actually looks really interesting, and I kind of checked it out and picked it up from there, and yeah, I got into it, although that's going back a bit now. It's going back a few years at this point. It's not a recent game.
I joined when it got about a month or two after it got released on 360.
All right.
So I was still fairly long in the running before I started playing it.
Yeah. It was definitely before release when I started playing. I don't know when the 360 release of it was.
I can't remember. I'll look it up. But now I've found my lot in life with it, because I just love mucking about with redstone.
Fair enough. That's cool.
Possibilities with it aren't endless, but I have yet to find the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to find out when it was. Oh god damn it! Wikipedia, you are no use. I was trying to find out when the 360 version came out. It doesn't have release dates for the individual platforms. It's just got the general release date. Home console versions. Oh, it was May 2012. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, May.
So
May
Christ,
9th.
that's been out on console for 3 years at least now. Jeez.
It is. Yeah.
Not a recent game. Let's try something more recent.
Is it becoming retro?
It's not quite retro by current standards, but
hell no.
It's moving. Well, we've had this in recent weeks. We've been discussing the definition of retro, and I think someone placed the figure at 2004 is now retro. Is it? I can't remember.
I'd say so. That's over 10 years ago. So yeah, I'd say the 2004 is definitely the retro era now.
Good lord.
Don't know what you're talking about. Old. 10 years ago was still the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, my third and final game that I'd like to talk about, if we are moving on to our modern games,
something a little more up to date. Yeah, go on.
I've been playing also Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and I love it. It's because I've played. It's carrying on from the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater storyline with Big Boss rather than Solid Snake.
I confess I know very, very little about Metal Gear Solid.
Right, fair enough.
I played the first one when they remade it on GameCube, but beyond that, not a lot. I heard Revengeance was supposed to be quite good because it was just completely balls to the wall stupid, but
yeah, that's a spin-off with Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2. I won't go into it, but do you? I doubt it that either of you know the backstory of Metal Gear Solid.
I hide in a box. That's what I do in Metal Gear Solid.
That is the entire plot of Metal Gear Solid. There's this guy, he's called Snake, and we believe he lives in a box. He may be homeless, so he spends a lot of time in a cardboard box. And
that's pretty much how it appeals, really.
He's a homeless man who lives in military facilities. That's the plot of Metal Gear Solid.
It's funny you should say that, because as I was watching them, the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, the E3 spoiler for it, they were playing like one of the first missions, showing like all the new things that you can do with Snake and all the rest. And one of the things is the cardboard box is actually more involved with a lot of the sneaking around in that, because rather than just hiding under it so that the enemies don't see you, you can actually jump out and shoot at people or sneak them into the box and beat them up.
Never let it be said they don't know what the core aspects that most people remember from the first game was. It's like, tell us what was most memorable about Metal Gear Solid. Was it that complex and deep and rich plot? No, it was the cardboard box.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But one thing that they did have in now this is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which is I think it was a game that was originally released for the PSP, but don't quote me on that. It has something in it called the Fulton recovery system. Now, what it does is it pretty much ties a balloon to whoever you're interacting with. Say you want to kidnap one of the bad guys so that he comes onto your team or something like that, or you want to rescue a hostage. They've reintroduced it in Metal Gear Solid 5. It's really cool because if you haven't seen it, basically you tie a balloon to someone, they go shooting up in the air, and you hear a helicopter go overhead who collects them, and then you can use them as a staff on in your military base to, I don't know, say do research and development, or they work in the cafeteria, or it's all relevant.
What?
But,
so you pay these people with balloons? Is that how you bring them over to your side?
More of a, can I just? I need more details here. How big is this balloon? And what the fuck? Just generally,
I cannot explain it without showing you a video.
Is this? I mean, when you said I tie a balloon, I'm thinking like some kiddie's party balloon, and they're like, the balloon lifts them up to a helicopter. Then we take them to our facility, and then they do all the cooking for us. I was like, what is this game? You're kidnapping enemy soldiers to become a chef for you via balloon. What the fuck?
I know, it's funny you should say that, because that's what I thought when I first started playing Peace Walker.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
If only everybody could be paid in weather balloons.
That's what I was saying. The size of the balloon is important, because I feel like a balloon that would be large enough to, lift a man. Where are you keeping these things? And how are you inflating it in a short space of time? And do they just stand there while you attach a weather balloon to them? It was like, I'm sorry, what are you doing? What are you doing there? You appear to be attaching something to my belt line. Are you supposed to be in this facility? Do you have any idea? That's a really big balloon you're attaching to me. Hang on, what's happening here?
Shut up, I'm trying to pay you.
Don't worry, someone will collect you once you're up there.
Oh, God.
Now, do you have any training in chefery? Do you have any kitchen training? Oh, it's okay, we'll put you to work as a janitor. You can sweep floors, right?
This is what I love about John. He tries to find the rationale when there isn't any.
I'm willing to let something slide. I mean, it's video game land, but this is just such an outlandish concept. It's completely ridiculous.
Yes, it is. I'm just actually surprised that Hideo Kojima actually put some thought into all of it, when it's just insane.
This particular system doesn't sound like it has much cohesive thought behind it at all, but okay.
No, it doesn't. I think it's just sort of like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But it works. It's really interesting. It's hard to explain, of course. But I recommend checking out videos of it.
I'm going to have to look that one up. That just sounds so completely nuts.
Hang on. Metal Gear Solid Fulton recovery system.
Well, not right now. We don't have time for it. You're on a podcast.
Yes, I know, but I'm just making sure there is a video for you to check.
I'm sure there is. Thank you, YouTube. Everybody does video games these days, I hear. Anyway, Will, have you been playing anything interesting?
I finished Titan Souls.
Me too. I did it just before we started recording this. Yeah, we can talk about all the things.
We can talk. But really, can we? Did you fight the truth?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. Then we can talk about all the things.
We can talk about all the things.
Yay!
For starters, how many times did you die?
4.
What, against truth? What, a total?
Yes, I figured that one out pretty quickly, actually.
Oh, right.
Go on, what was your count?
Well, against truth. I don't know specifically against truth. I was going for the total count. I didn't count.
Total count. I will have to. I will bear with me.
I did check, but I think mine was
just over 100. I think.
What total for the entire game?
But this is second playthrough.
Oh right. Why did you not finish off the first playthrough?
I wanted less deaths.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to see. I wanted to challenge myself to see how fewer deaths I could do a whole game in.
That seems slightly cheaty, but okay. What I did note is that when you beat Truth, it says it unlocks a new mode which translates everything, and the only thing I can think is that means you must finally get to know the names of all the Titans that weren't in English.
Which was most of them.
Which was, all except 2 of them. Only 2 of them, 3 if you include Truth. Only 3 Titans actually had names in English. So I'm kind of intrigued by that.
I only noticed the legendary Titan Slayer.
The Soul, the Titan Soul was English as well.
Right,
there's Truth, Titan Soul, and the legendary Night Slayer. Titan Slayer, whatever. Everything else was just weird alienese.
Oh my god, I died loads. I killed all the bosses in 173 deaths.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine was... This is not my cheaty second playthrough. I got 200 and... I think it was either 230, 240-ish. It'll be in my video. I'll have a video out on Wednesday with the final bits of that on. So yeah, I think it was 239 might have been my final count for everything.
It was under 100 until I got to the second statue boss. Because that one beats the crap out of me every time.
That was not the worst. I don't know which one was
it wasn't even the worst.
The Soul was by a long margin the worst for me. Well, actually, Truth wasn't even as bad as the Soul for me, the Titan Soul.
I figured out a good way of killing that one, so it didn't give me too much hassle after I got past the statue.
Oh, right, fair enough. Most of them, it's kind of... I kind of got to a point where it's like, this is fairly intuitive, I can see what I need to do, I just can't get the execution right.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't give you a big window.
No, especially with the Truth, a lot of the shots you need to take are split-second kind of things.
Yeah.
With Truth, it genuinely seemed to be just... If you could get it, you needed to act as fast as possible.
Oh yeah, you need to keep on top of everything.
The first phase, well, it gives you lots of opportunities. If you can get that one down, that's down. With the second phase, if you miss the first shot... Good luck.
Yeah, the enemies kind of build up and build up.
You get more and more. I got to a point where my frame rate was dropping because there were too many enemies. It was like, this doesn't seem viable anymore. Suddenly when the game, which up to now has been running a rock solid 60 frames per second, is now hovering around 40 frames per second because there are so many enemies on the screen, it's like, maybe I should just get eaten and try this fight again.
Yes.
And then the third phase, I think I got it mostly by luck, but yeah. So it's like, well, I think I need to shoot it in the eye, but the eye is currently shooting lasery death at me, so I don't think I'm going to have much opportunity to shoot it in the eye, but it worked, I got it, so that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm just checking out a video of Titan Souls.
If you have not played it, you must play it, it is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good.
Have you played any of the Dark Souls type stuff, or indeed Shadow of the Colossus?
No, I haven't played that genre, that series yet.
Well, it's kind of a bit of both. It's like super hardcore. What you get, you have one shot, and Titans die in one shot if you can hit them, but good luck hitting them, and you die in one hit if they hit you. So
yeah,
you will die a lot, as we have established by comparing kill counts.
Yes.
I went back and the fire. I really enjoyed doing the fire section. Actually, I went and did the entire fire section in one big area, and that was kind of fun. I kind of liked that bit. There's some cool stuff in there.
How did you kill the spinny skull mace smashy thing?
By shooting it in the weak point when it was spinny skull smashing.
I kind of by the achievement, I kind of guess that there's a simpler way of doing it, but that's how I had to do it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I figured this. I mean, the only time it stops still long enough to actually let you shoot it is when it lands after it has been spinning.
Yeah.
But I could never, or very, 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 very rarely did it actually ever land even remotely facing with its back towards me. It almost always landed with its face towards me, so I couldn't get behind it to actually take that shot. So it was like the only time. I mean, when it's spinning, it doesn't move too quickly. It moves across the floor pretty slowly. So I was like, look, it's spinning. It's moving pretty slowly. I'll stand a bit away from it, and when its back's towards me whilst it's spinning, I will shoot it in the back. That worked, surprisingly enough. But yeah, but then it gives you achievement. It's like, hey, you did this the clever way. I was like, oh, what's the normal way now then? Huh? okay.
No, that seemed to be the logical way of doing it for me.
I mean, that's what I thought. I thought it seemed the standard way to do it. I was like, you surely can't do it the other way.
No.
I get, like I say, it did land a couple times, kind of facing vaguely towards it, with its back towards me, but not nearly enough for me to get the shot off and actually kill it. So I don't know.
All right, which was your favourite boss overall?
They were all horrible. Every last one of them. I don't know.
You know, I like the one with the most interesting mechanic for me was again in the fire level, the lava blob, where you have to shoot it while it's taking a big breath and then guide it into the bomb. I thought that was a really clever mechanic for the game.
That was very cool. I did quite like that boss actually. Yeah. What I did actually spot, I don't know if you went past the wall carving. There's a big sort of wall painting kind of thing that shows kind of, I guess, the lore of the fire section.
I probably walked past it.
Because, you know, there's a big sort of jutting out bridge kind of thing that goes to a dead end, and it overlooks the big skeleton that's lying on the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's a wall painting that shows that skeleton, and the skull boss with the big swirly spikes is the head of that skeleton.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Which you could have kind of figured out from the style, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then the other two bosses in that area are the two hands of the skeleton.
What?
Yeah. All the three bosses in that section are the three parts of the skeleton.
I am enlightened.
Actually, I thought that was really cool. I liked finding that out. I like finding things like that.
Yeah. I haven't delved too deeply into the lore of Titan Souls, but you can tell there's a story there.
There's something going on there, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
In terms of bosses, I like the one that didn't fight back.
Yeah. You told me off last week for killing him.
I didn't like fighting him, I just liked him. He was friendly, I liked him, what can I say? In terms of actual fight, actually, I think the plant was kind of interesting. Especially if you go down the route of actually severing the vines as well.
Yeah, but that was definitely one of the easier fights.
It took me a few attempts until again, it's one of those ones where it's like, I can kind of see what I need to do. I mean, most of it was just me trying to sever the vines for the most part, to be fair, but it's kind of, I can see what I need to do, but I keep getting killed in stupid ways, which is mostly the nature of the game for me. It was like, I know how to do this, I'm just really incompetent. It's like, there's a very, very obvious way that I need to be doing this, but I'm fucking it up every time. So yeah, that's kind of, that was one of those fights. It's like, I can probably do this if I can just stop getting hit by stupid shit.
I will definitely do another playthrough of this and find out all the names of everything, just because.
Oh, I did look in the game files. I mean, I don't know whether these are just sort of placeholder names or whether they're official names or anything. All the Titans kind of have their own folder in there with the different files that make them up. I did note that, at the very least, internally, the big rock snake thing is referred to internally as Onyx.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah.
We did touch on that last week.
We touched on that one last week, yeah. It was like, it looks exactly like an Onyx. And I'm quite pleased that the devs were just like, yeah, let's just make Onyx, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and play it with the names on so that I can see what they're all called, but at the same time, a lot of me is just like, fuck that. I mean, I guess I don't actually need to go and actively kill any of them, because I just need to find out what the names are, so all I need to do is go visit them. Just go, hi guys, do you remember me? I killed you in a previous life.
Yeah. And then arrow to the face.
Arrow to the face, if they will allow me the privilege. In many cases, they probably will not.
No.
The legendary Titan Slayer wasn't as bad as I expected him to be in the end.
No?
Although once I actually got in there and actually started having a proper go at him rather than just a look at it. I mean, the first time I went to him, I looked at him and I was like, nope, this is ridiculous. Let's try fighting something else. Ended up dying a lot to the Mimic instead. So, yeah, when I actually went back and did him, it was like, most of his arrows are not that hard to dodge. The big, slow one is bouncing around the room big and slow. It's not too bad. And then the other ones, he gives you plenty of notice when he's about to fire the shot. There's a big noise when he draws the bow back, so you know he's about to fire something. And he follows a really, really predictable pattern.
Yeah.
It was just... It's just another one of those ones where the actual opportunity to attack and the target that you needed to hit was really small, so it was just kind of kiting him around the room for ages and ages and ages until you got the right moment where you could actually kill him.
Yeah, there are a few bosses where you need to survive for a few minutes before you can actually have a shot.
Yeah.
Just to make it easier on you. I suppose you could try and hit the arrow while it's moving around, but that seemed to be a bit of a
is that actually an
folly.
option?
Yeah,
I kind of figured... Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I assumed it genuinely had to have stopped at that point. Oh,
No,
okay.
no. But it's really hard to hit, especially while you're trying to dodge other arrows.
I say that, but the Titan Soul managed to collide arrows quite a lot of times. There's an achievement for that as well.
Yes, I got that one.
I got them completely by accident. It was just this big flash of light when we go. It was like, you got an achievement. I was like, I don't know what I just did.
Fun. Yes, I'm playing this through again, definitely.
The only way to go from here, other than to unlock the names, is to make it harder, and I don't think I want to go down that route.
I can't physically do this game any harder. I have tried. I've tried without rolling and without running. It is impossible.
I thought it would be.
I've tried it on hard mode, no dice, and I haven't even touched iron mode. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
One life for all 19 bosses.
No, not happening.
I challenge you to do that.
Nope. Nope. Not going there. Not happening.
Nope.
All the nope.
How many lives do you get in total then? Or is it just infinite?
Well, normally it's infinite, yeah.
Yeah.
If you die, you just go back to the checkpoint. It's like, go do it again now.
It's infinite lives, but one hit kills you.
Yeah. So, yeah, Titan Souls. That
was Titan Souls.
That's been quite an ordeal for a couple of weeks there.
Yeah. An enjoyable one for me, at least.
I haven't... Well, it's very satisfying to complete, but
Yes.
there's a lot of time when I'm playing this, I'm like, God damn it, why am I still doing this? Once it's done, I'm like, yes, I am the best at this. I am so good at slaying titans, but until you get there, it's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
So, I see from the list you've delved into Tulkus's perennial favourite.
I have. Now that Hearthstone is on mobile, I found this game a lot more accessible.
Oh, really? What phone are you running, if I may ask?
iPhone 5S.
Oh, really? That runs it okay?
Yeah, it runs it absolutely fine.
What?
I have to have an internet connection to play it, which I don't always, but other than that, it works fine.
I installed it on my phone, and my phone's not an old phone. My phone launched last September. It's only about 6-7 months old as an actual model of phone. I tried installing Hearthstone. It runs like shit.
Really?
Yeah.
It runs perfectly fine for me.
God damn it.
Ah. So,
I tried playing it. It's just so sluggish and unreactive, trying to do anything or trying to navigate everything. It's just like, I can't be bothered with it. I'll play it on PC if I want to play it.
Well, it doesn't... I don't feel like playing it on PC. I feel like it is a waste of my PC's potential.
Right. if
it's
not
playing
using
Titan Souls and other like 16-bit games and whatnot, but Hearthstone just doesn't feel worthy of my PC. But
Right.
it feels worthy of my phone, so I'm playing it that way. And like I say, it's very accessible.
No, it started like a board game, but is it also like got cards involved with it?
It's a card game, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because
It's just it's a collectible card game based around the characters within the Warcraft universe, yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, because I saw it when I went, shamefully went back to World of Warcraft. I saw a lot of...
Oh, they're doing all the cross-promotion shit, were they?
Oh, yeah, a lot of cross-promotion stuff.
Blizzard are really bastards for that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we see you're playing this game. Have you checked out our other games? If you play this, we'll give you free things in the game you're currently playing.
Yes. So... But Hearthstone never appealed. But
I feel if you like the characters and lore and style of World of Warcraft, it's got a lot of that. It's an amusing game. There's a lot of cool dialogue. It's, as far as card games go, a lot of them can be a little bit bland because it's literally just moving cards around. Blizzards have well, Blizzard are Blizzard, and they've made it really, really good to look at. It's really nice. You can play with all the scenery in the background. There's lots of interactive background bits that you can click on, and I'm trying to think of some good examples now. There's like water mills and stuff. If you click on them, they'll spin the wheel. If there's like a doorway, you can click on it and it'll crash the door open. If you tap on windows, you can smash the windows in. If you tap on roof tiles, they'll fall off the top of the building and stuff. So even when you're not taking a turn, there's lots of little sort of executive toys to tap on just to play with. There's a lot of attention to detail to make it a really nice product to play. There's a lot of debate about whether it's got much merit as an actual card game, but there's no denying it's very pleasing to play and it's incredibly popular.
That's what I've always thought. It's just I've never gotten into it, and I'm just working through all the practice modes now, getting all the different characters, and it is nice to just, if I have a few minutes and I'm not at my PC, to just have a little game of it. It's more fun than I gave it credit for.
I think it's if I could make it run, I feel like it is well suited to mobile, because I think compared to a lot of card games, it's a lot faster as well.
No.
A game of Hearthstone can be done in a few minutes, whereas other card games, I think one that frequently got compared to is Mojang's Scrolls. A game of Scrolls can take 20 to 30 minutes, I think, whereas you play a game of Hearthstone, you can be done in 2-3 minutes maybe. Depending on the game. I mean, if you've got two people well matched, it could go on a little longer, but generally speaking, the matches are a lot faster.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I kind of need to get back into it. If you're playing it, I'll have to give you a match.
with all my god-awful cards, yeah.
I don't have any good cards either, to be fair. I've never really played it enough.
Play my swamp crocodiles and whatnot.
I don't even remember what a swamp crocodile is.
I don't even know if it's called that.
I mean, a crocolisk, not a crocodile, but...
I don't know. It was something from a swamp. And,
I think
things that look like
skinks.
skinks.
Has 6 legs, doesn't it?
I don't know. I didn't even... Because my screen's tiny, I don't even look at the cards properly.
Yeah, you'd be hard to get a good look at on a small screen.
I should probably just put this on my iPad, really.
That'd probably be a better format for it, yeah.
It does need a fairly big screen to appreciate the artwork, but it's going nowhere near my PC. I will not sully my PC with this game.
Fair enough. Some of us have lower standards. Well, and another mobile game I have actually been delving into is Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
What's that?
It's Final Fantasy's free-to-play mobile offering.
Okay.
Which I saw it on the store a while back when I was at one point I was idly browsing the store, and I was like, I wonder if there's any Final Fantasies on mobile. There probably are, and I was kind of browsing it, and it was Square Enix being Square Enix, that they are all there, and they're all a little overpriced for a mobile title, but it's Final Fantasy. I think they charge the same on every platform, to be fair. And then there's one that popped up as Final Fantasy Record Keeper, and at the time it was like, free to play, but you can't download it. It's not available in your region. I was like, oh, okay. But I have heard other people talking about it in the last few weeks, and I think it is out here now, because I can download it and play it, so it is there. It's basically, it's the same combat system as you expect in a normal Final Fantasy, and it's pretty much just that. It's mostly... the premise of it is you are like the curator of a museum of artworks, and the artworks are the links to the past of the events that have unfolded within the various Final Fantasy universes. So all the major events of all the Final Fantasy stories, those are portrayed in works of art, and those are decaying because some evil is being evil. It's very vague. It's not well explained. And you must go into the paintings and relive the events in the paintings to restore the paintings. And the way you do that is by going and fighting things using Final Fantasy's turn-based combat system. And you basically collect characters. If you go into each of the worlds, you collect characters from that story. So if you go into Final Fantasy VII, you'll get Cloud as a character. Yeah. I'm really not well versed enough in the main Final Fantasy games to really pick up on much of this. A lot of it's kind of lost on me. I haven't unlocked anything from Final Fantasy IX, which would be the only one I would recognise much from. And I'm pretty sure there's not going to be anything from Final Fantasy XIV or Final Fantasy Tactics, which would be the other two sort of branches of Final Fantasy I'm familiar with. So A little disappointing there. If they put some Tactics Advance and Tactics A2 in there, I will be stoked, very, very stoked. But yeah, I think it's just the main ones. And then there's like the way they get you with the microtransactions is you can get weapons. So if you it's like the Buster Sword, it's this legendary weapon. It's one of the iconic weapons of the Final Fantasy franchise, the Buster Sword. It's a rare thing. You can pay a little bit of in-game currency for it, or you can buy gems and use the gems to get these. They're lock boxes essentially. It's just a random chance at getting one of these iconic weapons from the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah.
And then if you equip that to a relevant character, so if you take the Buster Sword is obviously going to be a Final Fantasy VII weapon, and if you equip that to a Final Fantasy VII character like Cloud and send him into a Final Fantasy VII world to take on the bosses and things that are in there, take on an event from that world, it gives you like lots of synergy boosts. So it's like, if you get all the characters and weapons to match up and go into the world, they'll be much more powerful than if you send Cloud into Final Fantasy IV and try and take on something there. They'll be much less powerful. They'll just be an ordinary character at that point. I don't know.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
It's kind of cute. I mean, the way they've got an energy system kind of thing to also kind of limit how much you can play. But I've never sunk enough time into it to run into those limits. They start you off with 30 energy, and most of the worlds, most of the events. Most of the events, kind of when you go into them, it's kind of broken into 3 sections, and each of those sections takes either 2 or 3 energy. And energy seems to be restored at the rate of 1 every 5 minutes, I think. So you could get through 10 fight sections before you run out of energy at default. You unlock kind of ways to upgrade that as you go along. And as I say, it's kind of regenerating. So I've never run into those limits. And I imagine once you hit 0, I imagine you'll then be prompted to be like, hey, would you like to pay some money to get some more? That'll be how they get you, but yeah, again, I've not run into that. It seems to be reasonably generous in that regard. And as far as the relics and things go, it does give you 1 free drawer every day. It'll be like, hey, you can get a lockbox. It's not going to have as good stuff in it, but here, have a free lockbox every day to get free stuffs. And then they've got like daily dungeons and stuff that you can go into to get loot. I mean, and they seem to be kind of on a set schedule. It's like if you go and play the daily dungeon on a Saturday, you'll get lots of gold out of it. If you go do it on a Sunday, you'll get specifically lots of XP out of it, and you get different things each different day. It's kind of cool. It's as far as free-to-play mobile games, it doesn't seem to be too bad. It's not amazing, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Fair enough. At least it sells itself.
Yeah, and yeah, that's probably Final Fantasy for you. That's I have little else to say on the matter, I think. I played, because it's on Games with Gold at the minute, Assassin's Creed 4, so I finally dipped a toe into the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Was it everything you hoped it would be?
No, it really wasn't. Firstly, the parkour is like the most hilarious. I mean, most people in the world are probably going to know this. I didn't. The parkour thing is the most hilariously trivial thing in the world. You hold forward and the right trigger, and you just run over walls and climb up buildings and leap off things and gracefully swing through the treetops and from branch to branch to post to gracefully running along the side of buildings and all over everything. I'm like, I am putting in 0 effort to make this happen. I am holding forward and the right trigger, and I am going over everything. There is 0 skill involved in all of this ridiculous artistry.
Pretty much sums up the entire Assassin's Creed series, to be honest.
Yeah. I haven't sunk enough time into it really to get... It hasn't let us roam free on the high seas yet, but it does introduce the game with a sort of a ship combat bit, which was... That was what I was interested in, let's be honest. I'm not there for the stabbing people in the back. I'm there for ships and blowing up other ships with ships, because that's what's cool, damn it.
You're there for being a rough and toothless pirate.
Yeah. However, the ship combat is just shit. It's exactly what I suspected. I mean, lots of people have been like, no, give it a go, it's really good. It's actually quite in-depth and quite interesting, and is it? Fuck.
Yeah.
No, you steer the ship. It's kind of got an arc that looks exactly like the arc you would see in any goddamn golf game. It's basically golf on the seas. So you wait until the arc points at the enemy ship, and then you pull the trigger and all the cannons fire at it, and the ship sinks. It's like, and the ship can turn on like a goddamn dime.
Yeah.
You can turn so friggin' fast, and it's like, these are goddamn naval vessels. They shouldn't be able to move this fast, turn this fast, and god damn it, I want my battle to be more satisfying than pull trigger, enemy, die. No, it's some people will be like, oh, if you wait till the end, if you get later on into the game, towards the end, the ships might take a few hits to kill, and it's like, so I've got to play through how many tens of hours of this game just to get to the ships that take 2 or 3 hits to kill instead of the ships that just sink the moment you fire a cannon at them. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably carry on with it a bit, but it is not everything I'd hoped for and more. Not in the slightest.
I take it the storyline isn't that appealing either.
Well, I guess it ties into the first 3 to 5 games, and I haven't played those, so that means very little to me. It's got this really, really bizarre thing. Again, maybe there's some kind of context to it, but for some reason, it just occasionally drags you out, and you're in the video game studio that made the game, which is incredibly meta. It's like, oh, you're a new hire at the video game company that makes Assassin's Creed. And you're like, what? Excuse me, what's going on here? It's never referred to as Assassin's Creed. It's oh, we're working with Animus technology, and the Animus technology allows you to take over the persona of this famous historical pirate. And I'm not sure what the guy's job is of the character we play, but it seems like his job is literally to sit and play video games.
I never looked at it that way.
It's not like, well, I couldn't figure out what he was being hired for. They were just like, here, sit down and use the Animus system, and you go into it and you become a pirate and start. It's like, what? This is literally just this guy. He's not. Is this guy in QA? Is he testing this game here, or is he literally just here to play the video game? Why is he here?
What's the name of the company in the game that you work for?
I can't.
Templars are evil bastards.
Yeah, is it Abstergo or something?
Abstergo, yes, that's the one.
Yeah, Abstergo Industries, yeah. It goes into depth with that, with Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood through to number 3, because that's where they've had all the like the multiplayer system thing. Yeah,
I kind of figured that there was something some stuff in the backstory going on there, but the game does not make it accessible to somebody who is just getting into the series with episode 4.
Of course not.
Well, by that point, they're really deeply invested in the plot. The plot being in the first game that you are kidnapped, and you are the descendant of an assassin, and they force you into the Animus so that you can relive Altair's life, and you can find for them a mysterious object of Eden.
Piece of Eden, that's it.
Yeah, which has great power.
Okay, are they generally evil then?
Templars are evil.
Templars.
We're led to believe.
Yeah.
It's Templars versus Assassins.
It's basically cats versus dogs, really.
Yeah.
Neither side is evil, yet neither side is good. They're sort of like playing a chess game, really. And it's really cool because I can't remember which Assassin's Creed 2 game. I think it's 1, but it goes in depth with linking into like real life history moments. That
really impressed me with the first game. Is they had their art history down.
Oh yeah,
I studied art history and I was really impressed. And then in subsequent games, it kind of petered out, and I wasn't so impressed anymore.
That's why Brotherhood will be always my favourite game, because of how well they did with a lot of the backstory, how they literally had key figures in history, either as members of the Templars or members of the Assassins, and it was just really well. It was really well done how they had rewritten history.
Oh, definitely.
Well, all I know is I was there for the boats, and I was disappointed by boats. I sunk enough time at one point into Pirates of the Burning Sea, the MMO, and I keep meaning to go back to that one day. I probably will, because that's an MMO I've revisited on like 3 different bloody occasions. That did ship combat really well. I really frickin' enjoyed the ship combat in Pirates of the Burning Sea. It took you a long time to get anywhere. The ships did not move quickly. They did not turn quickly. You had to plan and strategize, and you had to load the right kind of ammunition into your cannons, and then outmaneuver the enemy vessels so that you could attack them on their weak point without allowing them to get hits on you. Assassin's Creed does not do that.
It has everything that Assassin's Creed 4 is lacking.
In naval combat for me, yes, yeah. So I'm gonna have to go back to Pirates of the Burning Sea now. Where's that downloader?
You want to simulate something, you want it simulated properly.
If we're talking ships, yes.
Yeah.
I like my piracy done right. Damn it. So yeah, I've got a few other things, but I feel we should probably sort of bring the first half of the show to a conclusion, because we actually genuinely do have quite a lot of news to talk about this week.
Wow.
So I'm going to have to give some stuff a bit of a miss, and we might actually finish in a reasonable time frame today.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we're going to take a brief break, and then when we come back, we'll be doing the gaming news for the past week, of which we are not barrel scraping this time, and then we'll be doing the upcoming releases for the coming week.
Huzzah.
So we should be back after this word from our sponsors.
Button Mash Podcast is back.
Welcome back to the Button Mash Podcast. I'm about to do some gaming news for you. For we actually have some, unlike last week, which was barrel scrapey in the highest. It seems like this week was the week everything was waiting to happen, so lots of things have happened. First off, the big news, the one that you can't possibly have missed, I don't think, is Valve have now allowed modders to start selling mods through the Steam Workshop, beginning with Skyrim.
Huge controversy.
Apparently so, yes.
Lots controversy.
Much indeed. Everybody's got something to say about this, and a lot of it isn't good. I mean...
I believe there's a petition going around.
There's a lot of things going around. So this has kind of annoyed a lot of people, because obviously mods have always historically been free things for the most part. Occasionally maybe encouraged donations. I can certainly think of quite a lot of Minecraft mods that were like, hey, if you like this, please send me some money. But yeah, generally no one's ever asked you to pay for the mod particularly. So this is a first. Valve and Gabe Newell reckon that this is the direction that the world is heading these days, and it will encourage people. It certainly, on the surface of it, doesn't sound initially like it's necessarily a bad deal. It's people are making content, they are spending time coding, creating art assets, whatever needs doing for whatever particular mod they're doing. They are putting time and effort into making this. Should they not be rewarded for their time and effort? Any other work in the world, any other work of art or technical achievement, whatever, usually most people would probably not begrudge them having a little bit of a recompense for whatever they've made. Certainly people seem to think that's pretty okay with YouTube. You know, people are literally just playing video games and talking to a webcam and earning money off of it, so...
This is a very subjective thing, because as you say, it's historically been free, so people have been perfectly fine making this content for free for quite a long time already. So it really depends on the modder themselves, whether they're happy to, you know, exchange these services for nothing, or if they want recompense.
Well, ideally, yes, that would be the case. Certainly, I mean, no one is at any point saying, "Oh, if you make mods now, you have to charge money for them." No one's forcing you to put a price tag on your mods. If you want to continue doing it that way, yeah. But I think a lot of people in the mod scene think it's kind of going to disrupt the natural flow of business. Normally, modders work quite nicely with any other modders. If you've got a collaborative project, you want to work with other people, and you know both of you are planning to make it free anyway, it's fine. Everyone gets along great. And now you kind of created an ecosystem where it's kind of breaking it up a little bit. If someone's like, oh yeah, I was working on this project and I was planning to charge $5 for it, and like, oh well, I've got this thing, it would work well with yours, but I don't want to charge money for it. I kind of feel like this should be free. So suddenly you kind of got a few fractures and divisions within the community there.
What I'm really hoping, what I feel the ultimate goal of this is to create higher quality mods for games.
One would hope so.
To have a professional standard, hopefully.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, God knows there are plenty of professional quality mods that have already existed out there. People have done massive entire expansion level quality extensions for, I think it was Skyrim that they did that for?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I definitely recall a story somebody somewhere spent a long time making essentially like an entire expansion to, I think it was Skyrim, and then they sent it to Bethesda and were like, hey, do you like what I did? And they literally just hired him. They're like, yes, we do like what you've done. We'd like you to work for us now.
Brilliant. We like stories like this.
I may have got companies and games wrong, but that's definitely the gist of the story at any rate. So that's cool. I mean, that's great. I mean, but again, it's the quality of an expansion. I mean, would he have been wrong to say I would like $5, $10 for this? I mean, we're talking about the equivalent of an entire expansion to a game like Skyrim. Would it be wrong to charge for something like that? I don't feel like it would. I mean, if the developers made it, they would certainly be charging you that for it. They'd probably be charging you a lot more for it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, a lot of the... Sorry, go on.
Where would money go from games like this? I mean, obviously Steam would need to take a cut of it for hosting it, and surely the game would also itself would take a cut of it.
Well, this is a good part of the controversy. There's a lot of issues with the service itself. It's not necessarily that the system's inherently bad. A lot of people clearly do think the system just is inherently bad, and as you say, that's kind of a subjective thing. But the problem is, there are a lot of issues with the system in its current implementation. Firstly is that the mod makers only actually take 25% of the money from that. And the initial outcry of that was like, oh my god, Valve is taking 75% for doing nothing. No, actually they're not. They take 30%, which is exactly the same as they would take for the sale of any game on Steam, which is the same as Apple would take for the sale of any app on the iStore, which is probably the same as Google take from anything on Google Play. I imagine it's very similar to what Amazon would take from anything on the Amazon store. Most distributors would take about a 30% cut. I think Humble kind of tries to be a little bit better than everyone else. I think Humble does 25. If you buy something from Humble, the developers get a smidgen more money from that sale than they would if you bought it through Steam. So if you want to support the developers, Humble's actually a really good way to do that. So Valve are only taking 30%, and the modders are only getting 25%. So that leaves 45%? Yeah, unaccounted for, which is Bethesda's cut.
Oh.
Yeah. So Bethesda, Valve's cut is set at 30%. That doesn't change. The remainder of that, the default split is for 25% of it to go to the modders. And when, I was going to say if, but it's probably when this rolls out to other games, the developer of said games will have the power to change that somewhere within Bethesda's Steam toolkit, whatever, Steam pipe, whatever the distribution, whatever you'd call their back end, basically, where they can interact with Steam and set things on their game. They have a little slider that probably says, how much money would you like to get from the sale of mods? And they've just left it at the default. It's like, we get 45%, they get 25%, Valve get 30%. Bethesda could turn around, if they really wanted to be the good guys in all this, they would set that to like 5% or less, really.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, they, in most people's eyes, haven't done anything to earn that. I mean, they made the game in the first place, which is a pretty good start, but nonetheless, most people generally seem to be of the opinion that Bethesda really don't deserve much of that money, if any at all. So, if they really wanted to come out as the good guys, they would look, mod makers get 70% of it. That's if you really wanted to do a really good PR move, that's what I would say they should be doing right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's more issues than just that. I mean, aside from the modders actually getting the raw end of the deal there, because it is a pretty raw deal, to be fair. Aside from that, you've got there's issues of piracy and things. You've now got people are going onto other mod sites, downloading other people's mods, and then uploading onto Steam, claiming it's theirs, and slapping a price tag on it, which is an issue.
Yeah.
It's from what I could see of it, it does seem to be kind of vetted. It's not like you can just sell anything through there, because at the minute, if you look on the store, there are literally only 17 mods that you can buy. And those are available in a pack for $28.68, I believe. It's a strange figure to pick, but whatever, go on. So yes, for $28.68, you can buy the debut pack of 17 Skyrim mods. And so if you then go onto the waiting to be approved section, there are hundreds and hundreds of other silly things that other people have put up. So it clearly seems to be like there is at least some kind of vetting system going on, a bit like Greenlight maybe.
Yeah.
Except we all know how well Greenlight works.
Yeah.
There's not much approval goes on there. I mean, let's be honest. Just last week we were talking about Bloodbath Kavkaz, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Which is a goddamn literal clone of Hotline Miami. That got through Steam Greenlight, and let's be honest, Steam Greenlight is not as simple as people voting it up. Everybody kind of seems to assume it is, but it's not. It's not once you reach a certain vote threshold, you're automatically on Steam. It's once you're past a certain vote threshold, Valve will take a look at your game, and somebody at Valve has to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So somebody had a look at that and was like, yeah, it looks exactly like Hotline Miami, but go on. Someone had to okay that, and someone did, which is ridiculous. So Valve's quality control and actual filtering seems to be disastrous at best, I would have said. So I don't think anybody's got any particular faith that that's going to work out too well. So I think what you're potentially likely to see is that you're going to find people selling other people's stuff and just profiting off them when they haven't even made the content in the first place. So that's a problem.
Sounds like a great average day at the office, though.
Well, it shouldn't be. That's the problem. I mean, this wasn't a problem until this has been made a problem here.
Yeah.
Aside from that, and then if you go look on the store, there are a lot of silly things on there. There's one of them adds a book to the game. It adds a book to Skyrim that says why adding paid mods to a game is a bad idea. There's a fantastic one which I think is being made available for free as well. This is a free mod that you can get elsewhere. I saw someone link to, which adds an NPC outside one of the towns called Beth, and she is sitting on top of a valve, and she looks extremely well dressed. She looks like royalty. She's got a crown and very expensive clothing on, and she's just begging for money. And she will happily sit there and take any money you give her. That's all she does as an NPC.
God.
Which is quite amusing, to be fair. There's I don't know. There's so many issues with this. There's also the issue of what if it doesn't work? There's no way of getting your money back except within they add better standards than they do for their games, which is say within the first 24 hours, if you're unhappy with it for any reason, you can get your money back. But if the mod maker updates it later down the line, if you've had it for a couple of weeks and then he rolls out version 1.7 of the mod, and suddenly that breaks everything, or that breaks another mod that you're running and it doesn't play nicely with it, and hey, those mod makers aren't particularly talking to each other because they're both selling their products independently of each other, they're not collaborating or anything. All of a sudden you've got issues and you can't get your money back because Valve say, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
There's customer service and quality control issues all over the place with this, and it needs to be better handled, and Steam have not, up to this point, really given anyone any confidence that they are the kind of people who can handle those kind of issues. Because those are two significant things that are already issues with the service.
About time they pull their thumb out their ass and do something about it.
There are probably a lot more other issues that I can't even think of at this point in time. I've read so many different articles and sort of viewpoints about it from the past week, and I'm like, I've kind of tried to make a mental note to remember as much as I could, but
yeah.
At the same time, there's just so much going on. Everybody's got different opinions on this. It's if you go onto the Skyrim store page for Steam, the actual rating where you can leave a review, the percentage approval rating of it has dropped considerably. It used to be rated at 98%, which was like one of the highest rated games entirely on Steam at all. It's, as of last night, I believe it was sitting at about 87% approval.
Wow.
So it's dropped fairly considerably. It's still under their standards, a positively rated game, but
not
doing too great. There's also, with the mods also themselves had like a approval rating system on it, where it was like, oh, there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down system and a 5-star rating system, so you can, with the pack that they rolled out, the first 17 mods, it was like, do you think this is good or bad, and do you want to give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, a bit of a rating? It had 1 star and it was not doing too well. So they've literally just removed that system from it. It's now kind of, it's equivalent to Facebook likes at this point. It's just like how many people have clicked like on this at this point, and it just counts the thumbs up. And the star rating system is entirely gone because it was just being bombarded with negative reviews because nobody likes this system. Everybody hates it.
Shameful.
There was something else that just came to mind, and that's gone again. Unless any of you guys have got any more thoughts on this.
No, I hope that it gets better. I think this is a good thing, and I hope that people can make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere. I mean, Valve aren't the sort of people to sort of flip-flop on something like this. They'll leave it around until people get used to having it. It's kind of how Valve seem to roll with things.
Yeah.
It's just we will just leave the system in place until you guys are used to this being the status quo and the norm. It's really annoying me that there was something else and I can't remember what it was now. God damn it. It might come back to me. Anyway, moving on. I got this is one that you're at least interested in, Will.
I'm interested in both of these.
Okay. Oh, fair enough then. Silent Hills was a thing.
It was.
I used past tense intentionally.
Yeah, cancelled.
And no more.
So yeah, I mean, Hideo Kojima obviously there's been weird issues going on with him for the last couple months, I guess, whether he's leaving, no he's not, he's leaving, no he's not, he's leaving, no he's not, and it's not, now it's just like, we're cancelling things, so, yeah, that is to be no more. That was, they've also pulled the playable teaser for Silent Hills PT from the store, so you can't get that anymore.
No, I watched someone do a playthrough of it on YouTube, and my god, it is terrifying in a Guillermo del Toro kind of way, and also very Eraserhead as well. If either of you two have seen Eraserhead,
I'm vaguely familiar with the concept. I think
terrifying surrealism.
Okay.
And I was all on board with that, especially with the main character being Norman Reedus.
I don't know who that is.
Which will be lost on you because you don't watch TV.
I don't watch TV.
Oh, you soulless.
I have many souls. I stole them from the Titans.
Well, Norman Reedus, Walking Dead, zombies, I was all up in that, and he's a very, very good-looking man, even from me saying that, so I was disappointed.
I really don't have a lot to weigh in on this because it was just like, a horror game is gone. Oh, what a shame. Never mind. This really doesn't impact me in any way, shape, or form. I have no emotional connection to this at all.
Guillermo del Toro, Hellboy.
I know the name. I wouldn't have known what he'd worked on. Oh right. He's really just a name to me. Hideo Kojima Hideo Kojima is the only name involved in this that I have any kind of connection to. And even then, that's with another franchise that, again, I'm not particularly invested in.
To be fair, I haven't even checked if Akira Yamamoto is still doing the soundtrack for Silent Hills. Which to me is the main selling point, because the soundtracks were just amazing for the first 3 games.
Okay. Had that even got that far into development? Had they even
I don't think so.
Doing that?
I don't think so. But that playable teaser was just amazing and horrifying at the same time.
And I guess YouTube is going to be one of the few places you're going to be able to find it at this point.
Yes.
Fortunately, we have such things to preserve the history of gaming. If you already downloaded it, do you get to keep it? Because I know it was like
I presume so.
I guess it was the PlayStation Store, wasn't it? Yeah, it was PlayStation Network. They pulled it from the store, but if you had it, do they delete it from your consoles? Because that's kind of a bit of a dick thing to do if they did. I'm not sure whether they did.
So you could just carry on walking through endless corridors of nightmares. It's literally the same corridor over and over again, but with more and more terrifying things in it.
Fair enough. Okay, that's doesn't sound like the kind of thing I want to play at all. I don't do horror. We know this, except for that one thing that I played last week that was kind of okay. And that was only because it was just kind of creepy, not really horror.
Oh, this is like wet your pants horror.
Right. Not interested. Sorry. However, I believe a lot of people are interested, so sorry to you guys who are wanting Silent Hills.
We accept your apology.
Killing Floor 2! Someone found some interesting things in the end-user license agreement, the EULA, because somebody actually read it. Which says they reserve the right to ban you if you are a jerk. There's the actual is, we will not tolerate anyone using the game or servers or forums provided for the game to be continually or repeatedly abusive to other players. This includes, but is not limited to, griefing, racist bigotry, sexism, or other forms of cyberbullying. We will also not tolerate anyone hosting servers for the game where such behaviours are continually or repeatedly allowed to take place. If we find you are a cheater or abusive, we will revoke your CD key and ban you from the Killing Floor 2 servers and tell your mom. Your license will automatically terminate without notice, and you'll have no right to play Killing Floor 2 or Killing Floor 2 mods against other players, or make any other use of Killing Floor 2. End of story.
And your mum will know you're a dick.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that. So this doesn't seem like this should be a controversial thing, but apparently it is. Why? So most people who are kind of normal civilized human beings that this would never apply to are like, that sounds okay, that means there are less dickheads playing our game. We can only play with people who are nice and friendly and civil and not going to, insinuate that they have had intimate relations with my mother. But, there's a lot of people who are like, God damn it, you're not allowed to do that, my rights and things. So, yeah. Apparently, this has always been in all of Tripwire's games, though, which says a lot about how many people read the EULA. It's like, apparently this was in Killing Floor 1 as well, and whatever else Tripwire made. I'm not even sure what else Tripwire ever made, to be honest.
Not a clue.
I believe they have done something else. So... I kind of want to Google that now. But either way, yeah, apparently they own. Even in spite of this being a thing, they have only ever actually invoked that twice in the entire history of Killing Floor. And Killing Floor's been out for a while. So in the entire history of that, there have only ever been 2 people that they have ever banned for being a dick in Killing Floor. Oh, they made the Red Orchestra games and Rising Storm, apparently. I have heard of Red Orchestra, and I'm not sure what Rising Storm is.
No idea.
Oh, and they published Dwarfs, The Ball, and Xenoclash as well. Fair enough.
If you say so.
I only know The Ball because that was part of the Potato Pack for the launch of Portal 2, and they did some really cool Portal-based stuff in it, because it's actually it's a physics-based puzzler in the same kind of genre. So
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I quite like the Portal stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that was the same guys. Cool.
I like that. But
That
I
would
also
make
like
sense,
Killing
'cause-
Floor 2.
Yeah, that would actually make sense, because The Ball and Killing Floor 1 were both part of the Potato Pack. Yeah. So yeah, that has always been a thing. This is not something new. If you wanted to complain, you should have probably done that a long time ago. In fact, someone found an exploit that crashed servers in Red Orchestra, and we banned them. We banned them 20 times before taking final action, it says. So, yeah,
they're pretty lenient guys here.
Yeah, I think to be fair, the main concern of a lot of people was that people might try to exploit this by saying, so and so called me whatever. Pick some sort of slur, and just instantaneously get somebody you don't like banned just for no reason, just for trolling or just because you don't like them or whatever. But again, like I say, I think in the cases where they would be looking to potentially invoke this, it's not just like one infraction where somebody said you were slightly racist is going to get you banned. It's if someone says they're going to investigate you and they're going to find out whether you have been abusive, and they'll do their due diligence and find out whether you need to be banned before they actually ban you.
Right. Well, I've logged about 14 hours on Killing Floor this week, and I've only ever twice encountered people with microphones, and they don't even speak that much. This is a good player base, and not even a competitive game. So I don't foresee any kind of issue with banning or racism or bigotry in this.
Yeah, it's going to be a minority, as I say. It's mostly there as a cover your ass kind of deal. It's there so that if they feel that they really do want to escalate, that they have that option available to them, and they can say, look, it was in the EULA, you agreed to this when you bought the game. If you didn't want to agree to this, you shouldn't have bought the game in the first place. You're in breach. It just allows them to have that option in case they do need to, go nuclear on someone. Otherwise, they wouldn't have that option if they didn't have that clause in there. It says, this allows us to do that, and then they ban someone entirely from the game for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some people would be like, well, they bought the game, just being banned entirely from the entire game and having your key entirely revoked is very much the nuclear option. But again, it's like the example of the Red Orchestra. It's like someone had an exploit that crashed the servers. They banned them 20 times, and the guy kept doing it. So at that point, it's like, you literally cannot be trusted to play nice with this game. We cannot trust you to even own the game, so we're going to have to take it off you. It's not merely you are kind of mean to somebody, it's we literally aren't going to allow you to have it because you are causing us so much trouble. So, yeah. It's not the big issue that everyone has quite made it out to be.
No, not at all.
I like one of the comments on the article here is, are they legally obligated to tell your mum if it's written in the EULA? Just amusing.
It must go to some extreme levels for the companies to actually grass you up that way.
I'll say if your company has to actually get in touch with your mother, you done goofed, kid.
Yeah. Naughty boy.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit annoyed that I can't think what the other bloody issue was with the modding.
Write it down for next week.
I will remember this. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to some... I'm hoping someone's going to mention it in the comments. I'm going through the comments here like crazy. Okay, let's move on to some game releases then, I suppose. Let's move on to that. I have not opened the page because I was not totally prepared, which is kind of problematic. So I'm going to ramble for a bit and try and pretend I know what I'm doing. So I'm a competent host. We are on the 27th of April, so week commencing sometime around there. Shall we look for that?
We have Kerbal Space Program.
That's actually out. It's actually finally out. Finished, 100%. They added Lady Kerbals. That was a thing they added very recently. There are now Lady Kerbals. So, yeah. I imagine they added a lot more than Lady Kerbals in the final release. It was like, well, we've got the rockets working, what else do we need? Oh yeah, women.
We need to procreate the moon.
So, I have not really kept track of Kerbal Space Program. I played it a long time ago, and I think I got to a point where I could land on the moon but not get off the moon again. I think it was about where I got to. No, I don't. No, actually, I didn't even. No, I tell a lie. I didn't even get that far. I lost a Kerbal in orbit around the moon, and I sent another rescue mission to try and rescue him, which didn't work. And I kind of stopped playing after that, to be honest. I was like, well, if I can get another ship into orbit near the other guy, I can switch to the other ship and have him do an EVA and move to the other ship. And yeah, no, that was a faff, and it didn't work because I'm not a rocket scientist. However, if you fancy trying your hand on being a rocket scientist, and actually, holy crap, this actually first released on early access June 2011, I guess.
Wow.
Woo! So it's been in early access 3 frickin' years. What? Jeez. Yeah, if you have not picked this up and checked this out now, this comes recommended by NASA themselves. So, It's pretty good, to be fair. It's been pretty good for a long time. This has been one of the examples of early access done extremely well. If ever there was something you needed to point to and say, this is how you're supposed to do early access, Kerbal Space Program is probably one of the top ones to look at. And if for whatever reason the early access thing had been putting you off buying that is out now. You should probably have a look at it. We have Shadowrun Chronicles Boston Lockdown, which is something involving Shadowrun. I played the really weird FPS version of Shadowrun, and I gather that's got very little to do with anything else in Shadowrun, so every time anyone makes anything involving Shadowrun, I'm like, oh hey, Shadowrun, I really liked Shadowrun. It's like, that's got nothing to do, that's nothing remotely related, really. I think the vague universe was roughly the same, but it's not really the same thing. This is a RPG with single-player and 4-player co-op modes. And I don't know a lot more about it, to be honest. It's funded via Kickstarter. They got State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition. That's zombies, right, isn't it?
Looks like it.
Developed by Undead Labs, if nothing else, so yeah.
Zombies.
I thought State of Decay was already out, is it not? Or is this something that's been through early access as well?
What, 1 year survival edition? I guess that's a play on
is this
Game
like
of the Year edition or
right,
something?
Yeah, it might be a sort of deluxe edition kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. It does say, State of Decay Year 1 Survival is an upgraded version of State of Decay developed by Undead Labs and published by Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. It includes 1080p resolution, which I guess it didn't have before. That seems like... For a PC game, I'm kind of disappointed if it doesn't have a 1080p resolution. What the hell? Okay. Yeah, State of Decay, the first one came out in 2013. Really, a game that came out in 2013 didn't have 1080p? What? Or are we just talking about consoles here? Because that seems plausible.
Might be a console thing.
Yeah, it might be consoles, yeah. Was the original one on the Xbox 360, maybe? Yes, it was. Well, that would explain a lot then. Cool. So that's an updated version of that if you wanted that one updated. It's only been 2 years. It has a very short time frame to update things, but I guess they've just gone from 360 to Xbone for the most part. We have Omega Quintet, which is second game in Compile Heart's Galapagos RPG series. I'm fairly certain this is probably is it JRPG or is this a visual novel we're looking at? One of the two.
JRPG.
All of the pictures of this are just character art. There is no gameplay pictures at all. It does say JRPG, doesn't it? Yes, yeah, JRPG. It is the animus. You may have the animus. Broken Age. I guess part 2 is out. Interesting. If you were waiting for part 2 of that because they couldn't afford to make part 1, make it when they released part 1, I guess they finally afforded making it. You may now play the second half of your game. Congratulations. Project Root is an overhead shooter awfully reminiscent of the old Strike games, and I'm not familiar with the old Strike games, so I'm not really sure what that is.
Just having a look, see.
I'm looking at the screenshots. It's hard to make out what the hell I'm actually really looking at.
Explosions.
Is it a scrolling shooter, or is it... there are explosions, there are lasers, there are missiles and things. I guess if that's all you need in life, this game has some of those. I guess some of it looks like it's kind of a vertical scrolling shooter kind of thing, but then other screenshots don't look like that, so... I'm kind of...
It looks like it's both in
It could be more than one thing. I've seen people do that
dimension.
before. Yeah.
I don't know. It might be just. Yeah.
No idea.
Looks weird. Looks cool though.
Yeah. We have Sketchcross, which is a puzzle game based on Japanese nonograms, similar to the Picross games. I never played the Picross games. Did anyone play Picross?
No.
Nope.
No. I don't even know what a nonogram is.
No, neither do I. So, Google it. What is a nonogram? Nonograms, the puzzle game also known as Paint by Numbers? Is that right?
Enthralling.
I'm looking at there's on the Wikipedia page for it. There is a GIF of it being done. It looks like somewhere between. It seems like it toes the line somewhere between painting by numbers and Sudoku. I'm not sure how that works. I guess if that's the kind of puzzle game you like, there you go. Have it. Yeah. WWE. We don't have Michael here this week. This would be his jam. This is something about saving the pandas. Wrestling. If we've got anything to go by last week, right? It's pandas, right? This is indeed wrestling. This involves sweaty men not wearing much, grappling with other sweaty men in an incredibly homoerotic fashion. That is my understanding of what wrestling entails.
You've pretty much summed it up in a nutshell, to be honest.
Feel free to enlighten us in the comments.
I'm sure wrestling fans would have something to say about that.
Oh, definitely.
But I never got into wrestling, I can't say.
I did, but I'm glad I got out of it.
Fair enough. Tropico 5. That's already out on a bunch of stuff. I guess it's coming out on the PS4 now. So that's if you're hanging on waiting for that to come out on PS4, that's available now. There is Risk available for the PlayStation 3. Because I guess
why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not have more formats to fall out with your friends over? Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Paranormal Pursuit, the gifted one for PlayStation 3, is a hidden object game. Really? They're putting hidden object games on the consoles now? What the shit? How does that even work? It doesn't have a mouse. I guess you could use a joystick, but that's a really awful way to play that by the sounds of things. I would not want to play a hidden object game on a console. What the hell? Oh, God. Goddamn hidden object games. Why are there so many of them? Who keeps buying these? They're not that compelling. Paper Mario for the Wii U. That could be kind of cool. I didn't know they were doing that. Is this... Oh, it's the original one. Oh, I thought they'd done a new Paper Mario. I was like, how have I missed this thing? No, it's the original Paper Mario is being re-released on the Wii U. I played the GameCube one, and this is not the GameCube one, but I have heard good things about, to be fair, both of them, actually. I think they're both supposed to be pretty good games. If you wanted to relive that one, there's another way to relive that. Again, they are both really well received. They really should do more of those. They should do a Paper Mario, a new Paper Mario for the Wii U. I think that would be good for them. I feel.
You'd think that they wouldn't mind, re-releasing a game that they've already made a bunch of times.
Well, that's what they are doing here. They are re-releasing this. What I'm saying is they should make a new one.
That's pretty much what they do with Mario Kart, Smash Bros, every other game that they've ever done. So I don't see why they wouldn't.
Well, I see what you mean. Yeah. I wouldn't call those re-releases, but
gamer terminology.
They're just flogging a dead horse at that point, is what they're doing. But and further to the Nintendo things, we've got Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits, which requires you to buy all the physical DLC they've been releasing for the last however many months. So if you have any Nintendo plastic toys with chips in them, you can tap them on your things and make things happen. If you haven't bought any of those, does this do nothing? No, you must go out and buy figurines in order to make this game work. This is a game entirely centered around DLC, apparently. Does it? Hard to make out what it actually does, and there's very little information on it on this page for it. Is there any gameplay there? Do you get a chunk of game when you tap an amiibo on it? And how much game? I'm intrigued by the whole concept. It seems like it's got potential to be slightly interesting, but it depends what the hell it's actually doing. I could see it as a concept being kind of interesting, but do you get the entire game when you do it?
It sounds to me like it's just encouraging more questions and not providing enough answers. Well,
there's the fact that we use the giant bomb page. Not every giant bomb page is well fleshed out. Right, okay, I've got an article on it. Yeah, the game allows the players to tap the amiibo figures onto the Wii U gamepads, and you get a 3-minute snippet of classic Nintendo games. I sure to hope... Oh, it is, yes. Okay, this is a free-to-play thing. Thank fuck for that. I was really concerned they were going to charge like 20 quid for that, and they're like, oh yeah, it's 20 quid to play the game, and then no, there's nothing in it unless you go buy amiibos. Okay, no, this is a free thing. If you own a Wii U, you can download this for free, and then if you own any amiibos, you can get 3-minute chunks of relevant games for the characters, I guess. Mildly amusing and entertaining, but we have emulators these days. I could just go play the bastard games.
Then again, that was quite a challenge. That try and complete Mario, the original Super Mario, in 3 minutes.
Is that doable? I don't know.
I'm sure that's doable.
I've seen someone doing it in 5.
Yeah, I was going to say the speedrunners do some very silly things. So. I don't know how much it gives you. I don't know whether it gives you the entire game and a 3-minute restriction on it, or whether there's a limited amount of the game and 3 minutes. It would seem kind of odd to have the entire game, but then again, I suppose the entire game isn't a very big file at this point in history.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, let's...
So, do they give you just 3 minutes to play it and then you can't... or can you rescan the...
I imagine you'd be able to do it multiple times. I can't, for the life of me, imagine it's a one-off thing. That would be cruel.
That would be cruel, yes.
No, I imagine you tap the amiibo on it, it'll fire up the game again. It'll be like you'll take your I don't know, Captain Falcon figure. Is there a Captain Falcon figure? Oh, there should be a Captain Falcon figure. And he'll go, oh yeah, do you want to play the original F-Zero? 3 minutes of F-Zero, and then it stops, and you can tap him again and play again. I think should be how it would work. Also, I'm now slightly concerned that they haven't made it a Captain Falcon amiibo. I need to check this out. Please tell me there is a Captain... Oh, thank God there is. Good. I was concerned they might have left him out. Because let's be honest, they haven't made an F-Zero game in 12 years.
Yes.
So, that's concerning in and of itself. God damn it, guys, make another frickin' F-Zero.
F-Zero rocks.
F-Zero GX, I sunk a lot of time into that game. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
It was brutally hard, but so good. Just make more of that, please. I mean, weirdly enough, I was looking this one up earlier. The way it worked with the arcade machines that they released with it at the same time was crazy. It's like if you got into the arcade machine, it would dispense you a F-Zero driver's license that had your game save on it, so you could take it to another one and put your card into the other machine.
Oh, that sounds cool.
But it was obviously much more successful in Japan because they had all the arcade machines over there, and we don't here anymore. That's just not a thing that anyone does. And if you took your GameCube, memory card and plugged that in, because they had a thing in the arcade machine to plug that into, so you could plug it into the arcade machine, it would give you an extra 6 tracks in F-Zero GX, which...
Jesus.
Yeah. I was like, that's got to be surely like the first example of on-the-disc DLC.
Definitely.
Which... in retrospect, I'm kind of not okay with that now, but I'm like, there was an entire 6 extra tracks in F-Zero GX that I never, ever got to try because we don't have that arcade machine. What the hell? I'm retroactively annoyed by that.
This is Japan.
So that's an investment for Button Mash. We need to buy an F-Zero AX arcade machine.
Let's check eBay.
Let me know how that one is. Let's move on to some Steam releases anyway. We've got start at the top with The Little Crane Who Could, which actually appears to be... Where's... God damn it, Steam's updated the bloody page again since I last looked at this. I compiled this list earlier and it's not there now. What the hell? Anyway, The Little Crane That Could, I did look at this earlier. This is actually exactly the same thing as a game I played on the Ouya a long time ago. Which is it's a crane simulator. It's a very crude and very basic crane simulator thing. And I did not mean to buy it, but the Ouya really allows you to buy things really, really easily. Like, too easily, pretty much.
Almost, you trip over it and you've bought it.
Well, my friend had the controller at the time, and there was he was kind of just sort of browsing around the menus and stuff, and there was a button that said, buy this game, and he assumed it would take you to a kind of a checkout page that would like, oh, are you sure you would like to buy this? Because every other platform does that. It doesn't just go, bing, bought the game. Now, Ouya does exactly that. If you click on buy the game, it just goes, bing, okay, we've taken the money out of your bank account. Thanks for buying the game. I was like, what the hell? Do I not get a confirmation on this one? What the hell? No, so I just bought that. So that, well, this appears to be, they've added more stuff to it. It was entertaining in its own derpy way, but I don't think it was a very good game. At any rate, yeah, there we go. I'm desperately trying to find the things that I've lost off this page now. I've got Earth Tongue. I played this not so long ago when it was on itch.io, which is a alien vivarium simulator. I don't know what's changed on the Steam version. I'm kind of intrigued by it. I wouldn't mind checking it out, to be quite honest. It's a game in which you have very, very, very little interaction with anything. You have kind of the power to summon life onto the planet, but little else. And you can only do that very, very rarely, very occasionally. The rest of the time, you just kind of watch how the ecosystem interacts with each other. So if you put lots of herbivores on the planet, they'll eat all the plant life. If you put lots of carnivores on, they'll go around and eat all the herbivores, and they'll die out. And you just kind of watch how the ecosystems interact with each other. And I spent far more time than I should have done trying to nurture this bloody ecosystem.
Sounds like space era of Spore.
Well, I'm playing Spore at the minute on my Patreon series, and, well, the space era of Spore is just like 4X stuff. It's conquering the galaxy.
Yeah, but you can...
Oh, I know what you mean. Oh, we're building the ecosystem of each planet.
Yeah,
that's really limited in Spore. It's literally just, do you have this one? Do you have this one? Do you have this one? Good, congratulations, it's done.
Yeah.
No, Earth Tongue, it's a really nuanced kind of thing. There's like, you got to balance the nutrients in the soil, and so certain types of fungi will grow, and then some repopulate better when it's raining, so you can summon in rainfalls to make the soil moist to make certain fungi spread more.
I like the sound of that, actually.
Other ones you can only climb up hills when it's windy, so you can create wind, so it carries the spores up the hills, so that you can propagate like that. And yeah, just getting a balance for the ecosystem is really tricky. It's kind of surprisingly interesting and surprisingly compelling. I didn't expect to be as gripped by it as I was.
All I can think is I would rather be playing Terraria.
It's got a Terraria aesthetic, but it's got nothing. It's not in any way related now.
It has no pickaxes, it has no swords, or...
That's what I'm saying.
It's lost to me.
You aren't interacting with the planet in any other way other than you can summon things onto it and change the weather a bit. You're literally just watching it. It's a pet, is what it is. It is a goddamn
Is it a
Digimon.
Tamagotchi?
It's a Tamagotchi, yes.
In that case, my planet will be barren of all life. I would rather take a pickaxe to it and mine its resources for my own gain.
To be fair, I also played another game not so long ago that was kind of somewhere in between the two, which was, I think it was Space Gardener, it was called, which means you had to dig into the planet and collect resources, and then you could put those resources into a machine which turned them into seeds, and then you could grow a garden on the planet using the seeds.
Okay.
Fair enough. And then once you'd built a certain amount of stuff, it would give you like a better pickaxe so you could dig down and get different materials to make other plants.
It's basically Feed the Beast.
Some kind of way, yeah, I suppose. Anyway, we have East Tower Akio, which is a visual novel, I believe. Yes, it's a romance mystery visual novel with romanceable guys, which has a lot of comedy scenes, and they have a recommended order of boys to date in it, apparently. So there you go. That's the first time I've ever heard of anyone's like, oh, we would recommend you should date these people in this order in one of those games. That one's a new one on me. We have In Space, which might or might not be in space. It's a side-scrolling shooter that values precision and strategy over reflex or memorization. Interesting, I'm not quite sure how they achieve that. I feel like the two come somewhat hand in hand. Precision and strategy has a lot to do with memorization, I would have said. It's a very, very low-res kind of affair.
Sounds like
mega
an
low-res.
R-Type.
It's one of those things where it's going. Oh god, it's got one of those old CRT kind of aesthetic kind of things. It's got the edges of the freaking monitor in the goddamn screen. I hate when games try to do that. Ugh. I don't know why that one just rubs me up the wrong way whenever I see those like within the window they put in a fake monitor edge and it's like, god damn it. I'm not playing on that monitor. Nobody's playing on that monitor. Don't pretend to be on that monitor, for God's sake. Don't be ridiculous. We have Koi Koi Japan. Where are we looking for Koi Koi Japan? I'm having trouble finding this because they bloody moved everything. It's Hanafuda is that one, the old Japanese playing card game, which I believe is where Nintendo got its start, is it not? Well, they started out making Hanafuda cards.
Did they?
I think so, yes. Way back in the day. I have no idea how you play Hanafuda. I'm at least slightly interested. It looks like a very pretty kind of card game, if nothing else.
How's it spelled?
Hanafuda.
Ooh. Shiny.
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting. I guess if you ever wanted to check out Hanafuda, I've no idea how well it does as a tutorial because I know not so long ago there was a mahjong game on Steam and it just did nothing at all to teach you how to play mahjong. So I saw someone try to play it on YouTube and they were just like, "I have no idea what I'm doing and the game does not teach you."
Yeah, cause I've seen so many styles of mahjong being played throughout my deep interest in Japanese culture, and I still don't know what the original game of mahjong actually is.
I haven't got a clue. All I know is the shitty Windows version, which I'm told has no relation whatsoever to actual mahjong.
Yeah. Because mahjong's meant to be like the only way I can describe it, it's sort of like Japanese gamblers' version of Go Fish.
Right.
You collect tiles of similar value or marking or whatever it is, and then when you've got like say I don't know about 5 or 6 sets or something like that, everyone reveals or something like that. I don't know. It's a very, very peculiar game as mahjong, and might actually learn how to play it.
Okay, well, we've got Phlegm here, which is a 2D pixel art speedrunning platformer about snot.
Yay!
Because, obviously. That sounds horrible. Just not merely the design, just everything about that just not sound appealing.
It's pretty much just an emoji, though.
Sorry?
It's pretty much just like an emoji.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's not really.
It's a sphere with a couple of dots on it.
Yeah.
It's basically your protagonist here. Yeah. I'm not without my donuts, which is what the hell is this? Is something about cupcakes and insects wanting to eat them. It looks like a kind of a platformy arena type thing. And it looks a lot like it belongs on the Xbox Live indie game store.
It looks like that thing, that Super Mario's game, where you have to take out them hooters or something like that by jumping up at the floor to knock them over and then come away. Oh,
like you mean like the original Mario Brothers before they were even Super?
Oh, right, yeah. So yeah,
actually, I think it's very heavy. It may well be very heavily inspired by that kind of thing. Actually, yeah. It's got guns and things, so I think it's probably maybe a little bit close to something like Super Crate Box, maybe. But it's that kind of genre of thing. Yeah. We have The Perils of Man. It's a dramatic name. It is a point-and-click adventure kind of thing. It's probably going to have some fairly arcane logic puzzles that you will not be able to figure out. Because that's how they all work, let's be honest. It looks a lot like a lot of other point-and-clicks I've ever seen in my life, to be fair. There's nothing really super standout that I'm seeing there, but there you go.
I don't know, I'm kind of liking these visuals.
it looks pretty good, but it also looks very, very similar to a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Point and clicks. Have fun.
It has a Tim Burton feel to it.
A little bit.
Okay. We have. Oh, for the love of Christ, I can't pronounce this next one. Is it? Is it? YS. It's a JRPG series that's been around since the dawn of bloody time, and I've never played any of them, and I've never known how to pronounce any of them. I think the two facts may be related. It seems like the sort of game that I probably would have gotten into in my teens, but I was probably put off by the fact that I couldn't pronounce it. This is a remake. This is a remake of, at least re-release. I'm not sure whether they've remastered it or anything of the first 3D version. So this is Is 6, the Ark of Napishtim. They don't do themselves any favors with the things you can't pronounce. Is 6, the Ark of Napishtim. Sure, go on. I say it's a JRPG. Is it a JRPG? I always assumed they were JRPGs.
Looks it.
It's got that tag, at least.
Well, it says RPG, and it looks Japanese, but it's not. I was kind of thinking more of the sort of Final Fantasy kind of thing. It looks more. It's more third-person kind of character RPG kind of thing, maybe. Either way, there you go. I mean, I'm fairly certain some of the older ones were definitely JRPGs. But I don't know. It's not. It's one of those franchises I've always kind of been aware of the existence of, but never delved into. So
well, just looking at images on Google, it just looks like a JRPG to me.
What, this one specifically? Because, like I say, there are a bunch of them. This is the 6th game in the series, dude.
No, it's 6, the Ark of Napishtim.
All right. Okay. Whatever.
Just typed it in and into Google, and yeah, it just looks like a JRPG, really.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, we've got Ultimate Tic-Tac-Toe, which is mercifully free to play. Because if they told me they were going to sell Tic-Tac-Toe for money on Steam, I would have stabbed someone. I don't know, this is Ultimate Tic-Tac-Toe, which I was actually aware of. I had forgotten it was a thing. This is like 9 grids of Tic-Tac-Toe, and the moves that you make determine which grid your opponent has to play one in, and it's actually determined by the bigger grid of 9 of games of Tic-Tac-Toe. So if you win one of the small boards, you put your marker across that entire board, and you've got that board, and you have to line up 3 of the bigger boards to win the game entirely.
So it's like a crossover of Tic-Tac-Toe and Sudoku.
No, it's just trying to make Tic-Tac-Toe interesting is what it is.
Oh, right.
Because it's a really boring and uninteresting game normally. And if played to any degree of competence, usually pretty much ends up in a stalemate. So
I don't see how anyone could ever win this game, ever.
I think this. I have heard this is generally played quite a lot amongst like kind of academics. I think when you add the extra layer to it, it's supposed to be really quite interesting. It's free to play. You can check it out.
I won't be doing it.
We have Metamorphobet, which I'm not entirely certain is actually a game. It has 4 screenshots. They're all the same. I don't know. Is a playful interactive alphabet for all ages, which appears to be... It says for all ages, but I feel like I might get a little bit more out of this game if I were 5 years old.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of a kid's alphabet learning tool kind of thing, really. Mostly is what it is. Although there is a review below it that says it is gorgeously disturbing, so I don't know, maybe there's a darker layer to this that the trailer does not quite sell you on. Very strange. Who knows? We have the Weaponographist, which actually, I can tell you about that one because I was playing a little bit earlier today. They sent me a review key for this. I will be playing a little bit of this on my channel over the course of the next week or so. It's very Binding of Isaac, but where Binding of Isaac, once you get some stuff, you can kind of use it until you die. All the weapons in this kind of decay really quickly. They've all got like limited ammo, limited uses, and you need to keep picking up different weapons as you go along. All the enemies drop stuff, so you're constantly picking up a whole variety of different spells, different weapons and things. And after you've killed a few enemies with it, it will break, and you'll have to go find something else that someone else has dropped on the floor. And if you run out of things, you're just going to have to punch things with your fists. And ultimately, yeah, just try to keep combos going, try to keep your power and weapons alive and stuff. It's kind of interesting. It's an interesting twist on the formula. So I'll be playing a little bit of that. We have Truck Mechanic Simulator 2015. Oh dear God. There's already a car mechanic simulator. I don't know how much this could possibly differ. Other than the vehicles are a bit bigger.
Yeah. I think they're just milking it, really.
I'll say, this is going to appeal to a very, very, very specific niche of people.
Like me.
But I'm sure those people will get a lot out of it. As is the case with all the simulators. For some reason, they keep making them because somebody must be buying them. I don't know who's buying them.
The only simulator I don't get at the moment is Goat Simulator. But
really? Because that's like the one everybody does get. Nobody gets any of the other simulators. Goat Simulator is the only one anyone does get. I thought it was stupid as hell, but the MMO thing they did was very clever with Goat Simulator. I quite like that. They poked a lot of fun at tropes and just common tropes and silly things within the MMO genre, and I appreciated it for that. The base game is just completely fucking stupid and pointless and completely YouTuber bait. It really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, we've got Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, which is an over-the-top comical, fast-paced action game with hand-drawn graphics set in the roaring 20s. All-you-can-shoot fest where you embody Vinny, a mobster with a mission in a city controlled by gangsters and plagued by zombies. 4-player local co-op. Well, that's nice that there's 4-player local co-op. You don't get that often enough. I
like the cartoon style.
Yeah, it's got a cool style. I've had a bunch of press releases for this over the last probably 6 months or so. I should know more about this game than I do, but I can't say I've been reading the press releases too closely, I'm afraid. With games, I'm just like, if I can play it, I'll take a look at it. If I can't play it, I don't know what you want from me. I don't run a gaming news website. I can't publish an article, guys. So just sending me a press release really doesn't do much. I don't know why people send press releases to YouTubers. We can't use them, guys. It doesn't do a lot for us. Anyway, yeah. So that's Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. I got Second Coming. Tactical Training is a sci-fi FPS with multiple game modes. Not convinced it looks particularly great.
No.
If I'm honest, it looks a bit rough. Yeah. There are 9 weapons, and one of the main features in the main description of the game is it runs on the Unity engine. So they got a lot of selling points going for it.
Yeah, but the game looks like GoldenEye.
I was going to say,
it doesn't look great.
Kind of looks like it from the N64 era, maybe Pitch Black.
Indeed.
I would have said Super Nintendo era, but
yeah.
Well, they didn't. Well, that's pushing it a bit. Anyway, I got Cannabolt, which I'm surprised that was this not already on Steam? I feel like this was pretty much everywhere else, so I'm surprised it wasn't on Steam already.
I've never heard of this.
How have you never heard this? I'm sure this was like the first Endless Runner ever. If it wasn't the first, it was a very early one.
I do play quite a few Endless Runners.
I've got this on my phone, or I had this on my phone at one point. It started out as a Flash game. I played it there. I played it on my phone. I'm sure it's been on all the consoles at some point. I am astonished that, yeah, it wasn't on Steam already. I feel like most people would probably have played this at some point. You're a little black and white dude running across rooftops. The rooftops are crumbling for no adequately explored reason. Things will crash into them. Obstacles will be in your way. You need to jump over them. Keep running. Go as far as you can. It's an endless runner. What do you expect? It's generally regarded as being a pretty good one, to be fair, so it's there. We've got Stealth Inc. 2, a game of clones, which I'm pretty sure we looked at not very long ago, did we not? I thought we looked at this like within the last 2 weeks or so.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It is the sequel to Stealth Bastard Deluxe. It is a puzzle platformer with a lot of stealth going on. You need to sneak through facilities without things spotting you. I don't know. I was never particularly sold on the idea of the first one, so It does look like there's like local multiplayer on this, so I guess you can run around and try to be sneaky with people being less sneaky than you. Because that sounds like fun.
What's a little like M+.
Maybe? I'm not sure about that, though. I got Space Colony Steam Edition, which, again, I had a look at this earlier. This is a game from 2003, I think? So this has been remastered. I've never heard of this, but it does look like a game that would interest me. It's a city builder in space. And there is no part of that sentence that I don't like. It's building alien cities. Well, I don't know if they're alien, but it's building cities on other planets and moons and things, which sounds like a really kind of a cool concept. So, there you go. Shame it's a 12-year-old game at this point. 12, 13-year-old game at this point? I don't know. Pretty old. What else we got? We have got RBI Baseball 15, which is probably a baseball game if I were to hazard a guess at that one.
Oh, shit.
If you like baseball, that's a baseball game. I think that's probably all I've got on that one. I couldn't tell you much about the baseball gaming scene.
Or about baseball.
Well, there are men, they have sticks, and they hit balls with the sticks. And then sometimes they run around in a circle, or a diamond, or whatever it is. So, I know about baseball. Don't pretend I don't. We have Solarix, a science fiction horror game featuring open-ended levels for both combative and stealth-focused playstyles.
I may have to try this.
Does look
Yeah, I
good.
was gonna say it sounded like it could be up your alley.
Yeah.
Does look quite nice, actually.
Oh, I'm totally getting this.
If it weren't horror, I would say it looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's horror, so I'm going to give it a miss.
Never
Got
mind.
Abyss Raiders Uncharted, which is a tower defense game. For the love of God, are we not sick of tower defense yet?
Evidently not.
I don't know what this does different. It looks a lot more. The scenery looks a lot more. There's a lot more effort gone into actual worlds than a lot of tower defense games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I don't know whether that necessarily is going to make the gameplay particularly compelling. It's still put towers, watch them shoot things, and I've done that a lot of times already at this point. What else we got? We have got Chroma Squad. I did have Chroma Squad, unless... Oh, so has Steam literally updated as I moved? Yes, Steam has literally updated the freaking list as I changed pages on it. God damn it. This is a tactical RPG about 5 stunt actors who quit their jobs and start their own Power Rangers TV show.
Oh, no.
I got sent a review
Yes.
key for this like half an hour before we started recording the podcast. I am going to play this week, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. It actually sounds kind of good. I like the sound of that. So I'm intrigued to see what that one does. So you can probably expect to see something about that on my YouTube channel over the course of the next week or so.
Excellent.
What else we got? We have Block and Load,
Baseball.
which is this? Oh, it's another. Oh god, there's a bunch of these on Steam at this point. This is a first-person shooter game with voxel building stuff. There's several games that fit that bill already. You can put blocks in the way. The logo looks exactly the same as all the other ones as well. It looks, just visually speaking, just looking at the logo, it makes me think of Ace of Spades immediately. Not that I've heard much good about the new version of Ace of Spades, because apparently they put jetpacks in, which completely ruins the whole point of building any bases, but nonetheless. It's just like, oh, you built a massive wall, let me jetpack over it. Like, you kind of missed the point, guys. So, more of that, I guess. Hopefully without jetpacks. Jetpacks seem to miss the point. We have... What else we got? We've got Order of Battle Pacific, which sounds grand strategy kind of thing to me. Certainly strategy. It is World War II, US versus Japanese strategy game.
Looks like civilizations.
I was just saying, yeah, it's sort of hex-based top-down strategy. Whether it could be quite filed under grand strategy, I'm not sure, but it's probably somewhere in the region. Not my scene, but God knows there will be a niche for that, I'm sure. Once again, something that's managed to sneak its way into my list since I last wrote it. Skyforce Anniversary is a legendary shoot-'em-up that's made its way onto PC, apparently. That looks kind of pretty. I kind of like the look of that. That looks kind of cool. I like shoot-'em-ups, and that's a pretty shoot-'em-up. Whether it does anything interesting or new, I don't know, but it certainly looks kind of pretty. What else we have? Let's try and wrap this up. We have Lux Deluxe. Lux Deluxe being turn-based strategy of risk and world domination. I am getting kind of there is a very much a risk kind of vibe going on there. It looks like it could in another world be a board game of some sort. There's a lot of very, very different kind of visual styles going on, the different kind of maps and things. Like I can't quite make out what's going on with that. It's like there's so many different styles to the game going through the screenshots. It's a bizarre one, huh?
Maybe we can choose.
Maybe. We have Remnants of Isolation, and whoever's highlighting these ahead of me on the Google Docs, thank you for that. That's really helpful.
That's me, by the way, because I'm copying and pasting them into Google.
Oh, I've just got the Steam list up in front of me. I'm trying to find them on the page.
No,
Right.
I'm just doing it in the Google Docs.
Fair enough. Fight horrific enemies and utilize powerful spell fusions. This is Remnants of Isolation. This is, sorry, by the way, to overcome the cruel fate of mages and see the light of freedom. This is... God damn it, this is an RPG Maker title. It's like, once again, I'm looking at the sprites and I'm like, are those stock textures? Yes, there's some stock textures in there. The old, are they using stock textures game? The answer is yes. Yes, they are. I recognize some of those. This is an RPG Maker. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but... every time I spot the stock text, just a little bit of me just goes,
Here we go again.
And finally, hooray, it's finally coming out.
Really?
Yeah,
Don't
honest.
tease me.
It's Reverse Side, it's coming out this week. Out on the 1st of May, I guarantee it.
I am holding you to this.
Oh god, how many months are we up to now on this one? We're into May.
Five months.
No, we started tracking this in October, dude. We must. This
Was
was
it?
into, yeah.
Oh god,
I'm
it
sure
was,
it was.
wasn't it? 6
Yeah,
months. Then.
we are into month 8 here on Reverse Side. Oh, I love that. This is just this game. Just every time I see it on the list, it pleases me now. It makes me happy to see that game on the release list every day, every goddamn week.
Try not to cry. Cry.
Yeah, this is the week it happens, guaranteed, absolutely. Reverse Side. This game will unlock in approximately 4 days and 9 hours. They wouldn't lie to you about that, would they?
I'd buy it. Just give it to me.
You played the demo. It doesn't even work.
What is it exactly? Because
It's
Who knows?
I don't know. I really don't.
it's that bad, is it? Oh dear.
It's I guess it's I think it's supposed to be a very atmospheric space exploration thing. Some space incident goes down on the dark side of the moon and there's no communication. You need to explore what's going on and unravel the mysteries. And the premise sounds good. It looks potentially quite nice.
Yeah.
We have been following this game on the Steam releases since October. They keep pushing it back by a week or 2 weeks at a time, and they've been doing it for now nearly 8 months. I love seeing it on the release list, but it's never coming out. This is complete and total vaporware, and it's hilarious to me.
Is this another Duke Nukem Forever?
Oh, Duke Nukem, well, at least Duke Nukem Forever didn't tease you on a week-by-week basis about it.
Oh, so it's worse than Duke Nukem Forever.
Every time we come to the Steam releases, it's like, what's coming out this week? It's there. It'll say, it's out on this Friday. Reverse Side is out on the Friday. Friday rolls around. They've just pushed this game back. They've just changed the release date, so it's a week later or 2 weeks later. And they've been doing it since October, and it's never coming out. But apparently it's coming out in 4 days and 9 hours. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Well, let us know how it goes next week.
You watch, we'll be playing it by then.
Nah.
Anyway, that's a wonderful note to end on. It's always a good place to end the week, Reverse Side, I feel. So we shall leave that there, I think. So thank you very much for joining us. That's been a long release list and some in-depth news, so we'll probably run a bit long this week. Actually, we've run quite long, I think, but hey-ho. Never mind, hopefully you've enjoyed it. So thank you for joining us. Don't forget to... Oh, Michael's better at this than me. Don't forget to do all the things. Do the Facebooks. Will, what's the Facebooks?
Facebook is facebook.com/buttonmash.
Yes. Do the Twitters. Will, what's the Twitters?
Is /button_mash_UK.
Yes,
Yay!
Congratulations, we're getting them all right. Don't forget, we recommend games to you on Steam occasionally when I can remember to update the list. Will, where can they find that?
Oh, God knows. bit.ly something or other.
/BM Steam.
Yeah, nearly there.
Yeah. You got the domain right. They could find it from there, probably. It's not like bit.ly is used for anything else. What else do we do? I have a Patreon. You can give me money if you really want to give me money. That is at patreon.com/buttonmash. You probably don't need to find the YouTubes. We're already on the YouTubes. However, Danny has a YouTubes. Danny, what's your YouTubes?
My YouTube is Wolfblade X34. I do have a few videos up there, but I haven't put anything up there in ages because my games don't work on my PC. But
so fix your PC and make more videos.
I'll do my best.
Cool. Is there anything I missed? I feel like there's normally more than that. I guess there's nothing more than that.
No,
probably.
no.
Don't forget we have an upcoming event at the Bradford Playhouse on May 30th. You can find all details of that on our Facebook, so go check out the Facebook for that if you want to go find out what's going on there. We'll have lots of video games and festivity and celebrations, and everyone will be wonderful, and it'll be fun, and it's pay what you want on the door, so come join us for that. I think that probably brings us to the end now, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Cool. So, alright, thank you for joining me, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, for being a guest this week.
no problem.
And thank you for bearing with us to the end of the video. If you are still listening to this thing, you are braver. You're a braver person than I.
You earned achievements.
So, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Cheery bye.
Bye.
Take care.